How you going, people? Well, more earning the hate from police. Crash involving a police officer totaled 2 vehicles. Both drivers went to the hospital. Nobody died, luckily. And I say luckily. This cop's going in excess of 100. When they did a reconstruction, at one point they said he was going 107. When they did the reconstruction, they said he was only going 77. I'm not sure how fast he's going, but he's freaking moving.
City's busy. The police officer was taken to Heart of Florida Hospital. The other driver rushed to Lakeland Regional. And both drivers were sorted. 19th on Highway 17, one of Haines City's busiest roads.
Pretty major crash. Of course, the news media's, Oh, by the way, this police officer that was going to a call, non-violent call, had an autistic kid banging on a window. He's going to a non-violent call doing this. Could have killed how many people? He is a traffic cop, meaning he writes tickets for you doing 1 mile over the speed limit, justifying his freaking job. Meanwhile, he drives like an idiot, endangering everybody. And then he tells you, I'm keeping you safe when I fine you and raise your insurance. Oh, ticket writers, worst cops.
To a call, destroys 2 vehicles and sends both drivers to the hospital.
But even though the accident report blames both drivers, I-Team investigator Adam Walser learned that the police officer was going more than 100 miles an hour on a busy state highway just seconds before impact.
Dashcam video from an approaching tractor trailer shows the terrifying seconds when a speeding Haines City police car crashes.
Man. A little bit later, you notice the cop was not able to swerve or move when you're going that fast. And he had his lights and sirens on. That was his defense. Wasn't my fault I had lights and siren on. You don't have, at that speed, you can't react. So you just kill people in your
Speeding
path.
Haines City police car crashes into a Toyota Corolla entering the highway, crosses into the opposite lanes, and narrowly misses hitting 2 pickup trucks and an 18-wheeler head-on.
Look how far it takes for this car to stop. I mean, this officer, you don't think he's trying to hit the brakes and slow down?
As auto parts fly in every direction. It happened on February a.m., one of the busiest, 17, one of Haines City's busiest roads. Shortly after 9 a.m., one of the busiest.
How many loops that car make?
17, one of Haines
Let's count
City's
the loops. 1,
busiest roads.
2,
Shortly after
3,
9 a.m., one of the busiest times
wow, almost 4 loops, man. He was hauling butt.
of the day. The police officer was taken to Heart of Florida Hospital. The other driver rushed to Lakeland Regional. And both drivers were cited after a Polk County investigator determined from dash cam and surveillance.
So this guy, because he didn't do a complete stop, it was his fault. He got a ticket.
Footage that the driver of the Toyota coasted through a
Look at that. Coasted through. Really?
determined from dash cam and surveillance footage that the driver of the Toyota coasted through a stop sign.
That looked almost
From
like a
dash
stop to
cam
me.
and surveillance footage that the driver of the Toyota.
Good grief. How much more do you want? He pauses.
The driver of the Toyota coasted through a stop sign before entering the highway. But an act
Like it would have mattered. Like it really would have mattered if he stopped. He still couldn't see the car till it was on top of him because the cop was driving like a freaking maniac, endangering the public. Meanwhile, he's out there writing tickets all freaking day to other people, raising insurance rates, collecting money, and going back saying, I'm a hero, I wrote 20 tickets today.
accident reconstruction specialist who reviewed the crash for the I-Team says it was the officer's actions which put the public most at risk.
Of course it was.
Once the vehicle's out of control, it's out of control, and you're at the mercy of physics.
Retired traffic homicide detective Andy Levesque now works as a driving coach and accident investigator.
It could have been devastation, complete devastation for both parties. An inch either way or a foot either way could have made a big difference.
A report prepared by a Polk County Sheriff's Office traffic investigator says 46-year-old Christopher Jackson, a Haines City traffic
enforcement officer. Wow. Man, he's one of those cops that go out there and write a lot of tickets. He's cool.
enforcement officer was responding to an emergency call. A department spokesperson said that call was a disturbance which involved a 17-year-old with autism who was banging on a door and about to break a window and who had no weapons. The report says that Jackson's car was going 77.5 miles per hour at impact. And according to the report, Jackson had both his emergency lights and audible siren activated.
Even with the lights and sirens, would that driver have been able to really know that that officer was coming at those speeds?
It looks like it was a low-profile police car, meaning no roof lights, only inside the car, and that reduces the visibility of the car. When you're driving with your siren on, about 88 miles per hour, you're outrunning your siren. People can't hear it.
If he was only going 77.5 at the second of impact, why would the other driver not have heard the siren? Data the I-team obtained from the patrol car's black box show he was going much faster.
Whoa! So the police report, the people that we train that carry guns that we should trust, that work for the government and tell us we shouldn't have guns, they'll protect us. In their report, they said he was going 77. The black box says he was going 107.
Just seconds earlier.
5 seconds prior, he was at 107. We don't know what he was doing above that.
Black boxes have been in the news lately. The black box in Cameron Herron's Mustang shows he was driving 80 miles an hour down Bayshore Boulevard seconds before hitting and killing a mother and her 1-year-old daughter who were crossing the road. Herron was sentenced last week to 24 years in prison.
24 years for speeding. Well, I guess a couple people died. That's what people always like to do. He went to jail for speeding. Well, no, he went to jail because he killed a couple people.
The black box in Tiger Woods' SUV showed he was driving 80 miles an hour on a 45-mile-an-hour road before running off the road, hitting a tree, and overturning down an embankment. A speed of 107 miles an hour translates to 156 feet per second, meaning Officer Jackson's car would go from that end zone to that one in just 2 seconds, giving both drivers very little time to react. The black box report also shows Officer Jackson wasn't wearing a seatbelt.
How many tickets has this officer written for seatbelts? And these idiots that go, I like when cops write tickets because they're keeping us safe. Well, that's because you're an idiot.
Well, did it surprise you to learn that a police officer, somebody who has seen these wrecks, would not be wearing a seatbelt?
I can't explain why the officer made that decision, but absolutely. I mean, everybody's wearing seatbelts today.
The I-team has learned Officer Jackson had driving issues in the past. He was disciplined in 2016 after he was caught by a camera running a red light in his patrol vehicle. In 2014, before joining the Haines City Police Department, Jackson was cited for careless driving after a crash in Marion County. In 2012, he got a speeding ticket for driving 84 in a 70-mile-an-hour zone. Jackson received citations for driving too fast for conditions and a seatbelt violation in connection with his recent crash, and he is currently on administrative leave. The other driver, Diana Herrera Perez, was cited for a stop sign violation. She declined our interview request but said she suffered a broken arm and leg in the crash. Levesque hopes Officer Jackson will learn an important lesson.
As a cop, I want to get there as quickly as I can. But I have to remember that I can't help those people if I don't get there.
So, she should still sue the department. She probably will. But this is where when you go into civil court, they have what's called split liability, or they have who's responsible for the most part. So they will probably say you rolling through the stop sign makes you 20, 30, 40, 50% at fault. And the police going that speed makes them 50% at fault. So therefore, you're only entitled to 50% of your damages. So that's how that'll work out. But again, another earning to hate. Police, they keep telling us, and all the people that love and support the police and say they're doing us favors and are keeping us safe by running around, taxing the shit out of people, harassing people instead of catching criminals. And this guy's going, an autism guy banging on a door, endangering everybody on the street. It's just freaking crazy. And then I got idiots here telling me how, why are you always picking on the cops? Okay, whatever.
Per hour, you're outrunning your siren. People can't hear it.
If he was only going 77.5 at the second of impact, why would the...
Alrighty, we'll end that there.